Hello out there, this is Luke Eccles from Fantasy Bro Sports, continuing my quarterback rankings. Yesterday, we ended abruptly, had a call that completely shut the video down, but luckily we were at a good spot to stop it. Just no conclusion, ended abruptly, but the content was still good for the video, so I was very happy with it. Before we get into the rankings, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I've been seeing this year. Maybe I've seen it in the past. I just didn't notice it was as prevalent this year. But, it just seems to me it's funny that teams are using social media now to kind of hype players, maybe try to throw other teams off. Got games coming up quick, and all these teams, do everything they can to stay ahead. And I can see them starting to use social media now to kind of hype certain players. Yesterday I think it came out, uh, Shaq Griffin, rookie, uh, cornerback, linebacker for Seattle, picked off Russell Wilson, and definitely happened to capture that on tape. Seen another video of Chandler Jones, Arizona Cardinals defensive end, breaking a sled. Just so happened to catch it on video. The other day, at 49ers camp, they had videos of Goodwin, Marquise Goodwin just flying past Richard Sherman, and how Richard Sherman was, you know, dunzo, uh, you know, too slow to compete. And then the next day it had Richard Sherman shutting one of the younger wide receivers down. So, I think these teams try to get any edge that they can. Obviously, football, wants superstars in the sport, so they try to hype players up as much as possible. But definitely notice that more this year than in the past, and as far as fantasy football purposes, appreciate the videos, watch the videos, but, don't believe the hype always. Stick to your guns, stick to your plan and your strategy. Have those guys that you like, and don't let one video on social media hype up a player in your mind. So, with that, to kind of recap yesterday's rankings, QBs 1 through 12, I went through yesterday. Number one's Cam Newton. Number two, Deshaun Watson. Number three, Carson Wentz. Number four, Tom Brady. Number five, Drew Brees. Number six, Aaron Rodgers. Number seven, Matt Ryan. Number eight, Jimmy Garoppolo. Number nine, Kirk Cousins. Number 10, Phillip Rivers. Number 11, Jared Goff. And number 12, Andrew Luck. What I was going to say about Luck yesterday as the video kind of cut off was I'm anxious to see some preseason games from Luck. Uh, I'd like to see him throw some deep passes to make sure he can do that as well as he could in the past. And I'm sure he'll definitely be climbing up the rankings if he shows well in preseason. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and continue on with number 13 QB through 26 quarterbacks I have ranked. So number 13 I have is Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes inherits Andy Reid offense that's got just a ton of weapons around him, studs all over the field, deep threats, red zone threats, take it to the house threats, everything you could think of there. We haven't seen much of Mahomes. What we have seen has been really impressive. This could be number one offense in the league if everything goes to plan. You can get Mahomes at pretty good value. I mean, he's climbing up in boards. If he shows well in preseason, he'll climb even higher. But he's got top 10 upside in any type of format. You should look for Mahomes. I mean, he probably is going to get some running stats in there as well as passing stats. So got him ranked number 13, especially with the upside. I'm excited to see him play. So number 14, got the old man on the block, Eli Manning. Not many people have faith in Eli anymore. I mean, he's won some people championships. He's won Giants Super Bowl a couple times, but he's also thrown some stinkers out there. Lost just some games as far as fantasy goes. Had some bad seasons for the Giants. So definitely Eli's been around a long time. But listen, he's got a heck of an offense. Then I have a great running game with Saquon Barkley. He's got, Odell. He's got just Sterling. He's just got weapons all over the field. Evan Irvin, just he's gonna have a good year. And the Giants are gonna be a good team. I mean, I got him ranked number 14th. All of his weapons are ranked really high. So you got to rank Eli up there as well. I mean, if they're going to be a good team, they're going to go as Eli goes. So he's my number 14 QB. Number 15 QB, I got Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod is going to be good as long as he plays. Baker Mayfield, they drafted number 1 overall. Obviously, he could play at any time, but as long as Tyrod is playing for the Cleveland Browns, I think he's going to be a startable fantasy quarterback. I mean, he's a veteran. He knows how to push the ball down the field. He's got a lot of weapons there. Josh Gordon just, once he gets back from, his stint away from the football team, is just going to be a beast. Jarvis Landry, beast. Duke Johnson, been very consistent, been there for years. So he's going to have a lot of weapons. David Njoku, the tight end. So, as long as Tyrod's playing, he's going to be a productive quarterback. Number 16 overall is Derek Carr. Derek Carr, it's uber critical for his offensive players to stay healthy. We've seen the Raiders have some injuries on the offensive line, and that really affected Carr's play in the past. Also, his wide receivers, Amari Cooper, set to have a breakout year. Jordy Nelson's getting a little up there in age, but man, he can still play. He can still perform at a high level. He's just got to stay healthy and help Derek Carr out there. Jared Cook, the tight end, just steady, great over the middle of the field, catches the ball, has really good hands. So, Carr can be a viable quarterback as long as everything goes according to plan. So, next up, I got Case Keenum. Could easily see Keenum moving up this list as the year goes on. Just kind of need to see what the Broncos' offense is going to be. Thinking back what the Broncos' offense has been in the past, I really don't have a clear understanding of if the offense is like a run first or a pass first, or if they push the ball up the field, or if they try to control the clock. It's been really wishy-washy over the last several years. So now that they got a quarterback that, was able to push the ball up the field last year with the Vikings, kind of a similar set where the Vikings had 2 good wide receivers on the outside. Denver's got, Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders on the outside. They also got Fowler that had some pretty big games for him last year. I think he's going to be a emerging wide receiver as well. So, depending on the running game that Keenum gets from the running backs in Denver, Booker and Devonta Booker, and also the rookie, I believe it's Royce Freeman. A good running game would make a huge difference for Case Keenum in Denver. So could easily see him, I got him 17th overall. Could you easily see him kind of creeping up towards that top 12 once the season gets going. So, number 18th overall, I've got Russell Wilson. We've seen Wilson have some really good years in the past. I just think this year it's gonna catch up with them. Kind of seems like Seahawks are a mess. Uh, their running game is just like, is it this guy? Is it that guy? Is it this guy? Last year we seen that over and over again, just different runner every game in the backfield and never good. Rarely ever good. His offensive line lets him down a lot. We've seen Doug Baldwin might not play until the first game of the year. That's his primary target. But other than Baldwin this year, I mean, his wide receiving core is kind of depleted. So I just think Seahawks are a mess, going the wrong way for sure. Kind of feel a little bad for Russell Wilson, because I always rooted for him, like his game. But I got him as my 18th overall quarterback. So don't make that mistake on draft day of reaching for Russell Wilson. Next up, number 19, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford kind of the same boat as Wilson. I mean, the Lions have, been there for a long time, as far as on the cusp of making the playoffs, the cusp of making a deep run into the playoffs, and they just never showed. And they got a rookie running back in Kerryon Johnson that could make a huge difference for their team, because you think back, other than Barry Sanders, obviously, 20 years ago, the Lions have never had much of a running game, and they've had to rely on Matthew Stafford. The defense have been able to key on the pass, so running game's critical for the Detroit Lions. That division's getting better, I think. The Lions, could be last in that division this year, I think. I got the Bears as a up-and-coming team for sure. You got the Packers there. Vikings are going to be Super Bowl contenders, so I could see Detroit Lions kind of be in the basement of the NFC North this year. Not really on Stafford. Probably a lot of short passes again to Golden Tate and Marvin Jones. So moving on, number 20 overall for quarterbacks, I got Marcus Mariota. Like Mariota, last year had him pretty high on my draft boards, and just kind of need to see it from him. This is another year. He's got a new coach, a new system. He's got some good weapons, but once again, it's another offense that kind of doesn't have a set running game. We've seen Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's kind of underwhelmed, and Deion Lewis, we've seen him really good in the past with the Patriots, but what running back isn't really good with the Patriots? So kind of hard to know what running game you're going to get out of those two guys. And Marcus Mariota, he always can take off and run. He's always a threat to do that, but he's got hurt in the past, so you don't really want him to rely on his legs. You want him to sit back and find his weapons more. So definitely root for the guy. I like his game. I got him 20th overall just because, new system, not sure about the running game. Gonna have to see it from Mariota before he moves up in my rankings. Next up, guy that's been up top 10 quarterback for a long time, Ben Roethlisberger. Just don't see it as much from the Steelers this year. Kind of last couple years kind of was playing around the Steelers' demise, and they've hung in there. They're tough. There's no doubt about it. But this year, I just think with Le'Veon Bell stuff, maybe he comes back and he's just a beast. But losing their coordinator and Haley, getting a new coordinator, I don't know. Just feel like there's a lot of drama that's always surrounded the Steelers lately. So I'm just going to shy away from them. That's why I got Roethlisberger 21st, low on my quarterback rankings. He'll have 3 games this year that he'll win you the week if he's in your lineup. But other than that, he's probably going to throw up some stinkers, and he could lose you the week too. So just trying to avoid Roethlisberger if I can. Next up, Alex Smith. Alex Smith had a great year last year with Kansas City, but he had tons of weapons. New system, new team this year in Washington. He's always been kind of shy to, hit the guys in stride. I already seen a couple of the Washington wide receivers get hurt. They might have a good rookie running back in Darius Geis. He's getting a lot of hype anyway, but Alex Smith's just kind of too inconsistent for me, and with him changing teams and everything, I kind of want to see it before I buy in for fantasy football purposes. Next up, 23rd ranked quarterback, got Mitchell Trubisky from the Chicago Bears. Rooting for Trubs this year, out of Bears camp, there's been conflicting reports. I've heard Trubisky's hitting everybody. He was 11 for 12 today. He was 15 for 16. Just making tons of plays. Also heard he's been real inconsistent and hasn't looked like he's improved at all. So, like I said, you got to kind of, don't believe the hype. Don't believe everything you hear. Kind of filter the information you get in one ear, out the other. Take it with a grain of salt and kind of, stick to the plan, stick to the strategy. I think Trubisky will have a better year this year. I'm looking for good things out of the Bears. Definitely going to win more ball games than they won last year. I think Trubisky, like I said, will be good. I think he could have close to maybe 25 touchdown passes, but I think overall the Bears are going to try to run the ball and use those two running backs to their advantage. Also their defense. So I think they'll try to control the ball a little more. Maybe Trubisky won't pass as much, and they'll try to use those running backs a lot. So number 24, got Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott had a down year last year. They got rid of Dez. Witten retired. Apparently those guys were in his ear a lot, but now it seems like, man, they got rid of those guys, and now they got a receiving corp that's really depleted. Maybe some of these guys will step up and be a number one for Dak, but man, I can't see him being any better than what he was last year. He's got Ezekiel Elliott for a full year, but with the way defenses play now and the structure that they game plan around, they're gonna plan on Ezekiel Elliott and make Dak and those wide receivers beat him. So I don't know. I got Dak as my 24th quarterback. I'm probably not going to draft him at all. Number 25 overall, got Blake Bortles. Seen Bortles late in the year when he had to push the ball down the field a little bit. So, I feel like he can do that. But once again, kind of like Trubisky, I don't think that's going to be the Jaguars' game plan. I think they're going to wait, try to control the game with their defense and with their running game. And then, if they have to, come fourth quarter, try to push that ball down the field with Bortles. So, see him being a better quarterback than a fantasy quarterback. So, got him ranked number 25th. The last quarterback I ranked, number 26, Ryan Tannehill. Don't really see much for Tannehill being very solid at all. He was injured last year. The Dolphins are kind of a mess. They've lost a lot of weapons. Their defense isn't going to be great, and they're in a tough division. So, I don't know. I could see the Dolphins, not winning the game out there. So, another quarterback I didn't really talk about that I'm just kind of trying to avoid the situation is the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Flacco, Lamar, Houston, don't really know which one to play. There's been conflicting reports coming out of there, but even when Flacco was playing and didn't have a Lamar Jackson to worry about, he still wasn't that good. So I'm avoiding Flacco. If you're in a dynasty draft, maybe look at Lamar Jackson, pick him up there because he could be good next year once Flacco gets out of the picture. But with that, that's my quarterback rankings for Fantasy Bro Sports. I definitely appreciate everybody listening, everybody, all the follows, all the mentions, um, watching the videos. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you can. You can catch us on Twitter at bro_fantasy. We got a Facebook page, also on Instagram. So a lot of things going off, a lot of things going on, but I'm excited about football season. We've had some success with the daily fantasy golf as well. So excited about what the year's going to bring, and appreciate everyone.